hey, you can grab these for this limited time special. Why is this red line different than the old one? What can they say in layman's terms to their customers to know why it's different, why they should grab it and not have to wait till April?
Sure. And so we really could have an entire call about the differences between these ingredients. And one of the big things I want to reinforce is that our team is making sure that you have assets to easily explain the differences between the two. It'll be a comparison sheet. We have new one sheets. But the long story short about these new products, other than, of course, the ampule is now in essence and the bottles are different, is that you have initial formulas were once passed through the microfluidizer processor, and now they've been passed through multiple times. So this redefines the nanoliposomal nature of these formulations. Not simply is it a singular nanoliposomal formula, it's the nanoliposomes are even smaller in size. That directly correlates to more absorption and more targeted efficacy. These liposomes, because they are so small, can very easily get into the skin and not necessarily break apart or break down as they're getting into the skin, thusly delivering the ingredients more accurately, so to speak. Then you start going a little bit more towards the nuances, and that's on the ingredient level. So on the general aspect of it all, many of you may already remember the previous RADIANSOME line. Each of those products had the same key ingredients, really working into that key beauty concept of layering. In this instance, they all three still do share multiple ingredients. That's going to be the RK Snowflake, the Vita Complex, but now they all three share two different ingredients that highly highlight our giant Byungpul. And so these ingredients are Centelac GT and Byungpul Calisone. So the Centelac GT is just a fancy marriage of the three words lactobacillus ferment, centella, and the Jeju camellia. Really just focusing on every anti-aging claim you could want and every anti-aging performance you could want. Brightening, hyperpigmentation reduction, fine line and wrinkle reduction in appearance. That Byungpul Calisone is really potent in antioxidant care, which we already know Byungpul has that antioxidant thing going for it. So another way to just have it perform in a protective manner. Then we start going to the details of each three product having their own key ingredients, which I think that is for a different call. That is for an ingredient and a fact sheet. And we, of course, will go through that. We'll probably have a Tradition Meets Innovation call this month. We'll probably have a recap call about all of the different things we've got over in terms of products at this event today. But long story short, I always talk too much, is that we have formulas that were once microfluidized. Now they have been run upwards of 7 times, and it's different for each product. So it's 4 for the toner, it's 5 for the cream, and the essence is 7. Then we also have new key ingredients. Shared key ingredients changes is that we now have Centelac GT and Byungpul Calisone, both of which are patent pending, excuse me, as they've been recently created. So,
And you told me that people who previously used the Rad 100, maybe it didn't sit well with their skin, or it was too, maybe they had a bad reaction. You felt like this was going to be more agreeable with more skin types.
Absolutely. So that's something that even I'm honest about, is that the high oil load nature of the RADIANSOME line was difficult for my skin type. I have sensitive skin. It is very acne prone, not in the sense of cystic acne or uniform acne formation, but I always would get these tiny comedones, if that makes sense. They never came to the surface of the skin. With this line, it's entirely different. Because the microfluidizer process has been used multiple times through, we need to rely less on a high oil load to maintain the stability of the liposomes. And that means not only are you going to have a completely different texture experience, it's still going to be very emollient. It's going to be more slowly absorbing in comparison to the dermatology products, but it's a lot less heavy in that same consideration. And there's a lot less of that comedogenic potential with that oil load. So the refinement of these particles and of the formula in its entirety from just a basic standpoint of looking towards ingredient reactivity is unparalleled. So I think this is something that everyone, even who couldn't potentially use the old formulas, should feel encouraged to try. And if you're hesitant, there's no worry with that. Of course, we have a return process and all that, but I would approach it even slowly. Just pick one product, try out the toner, for example. You don't have to commit to everything, because I know that takes a lot from what you're already used to. But know that these products are in honor of the original RADIANSOME formulations, but an evolution all the same. They are unparalleled to what's been before.
And we haven't told them the good news. How much do you get with that?
Yes. So the other good thing too is we have, of course, all new packaging. The package itself is now recyclable, which is huge because that was a lot of feedback we got from the field. But with the specific transformation of the ampule to what is now known as the essence, you get a 20 milliliter increase in the content that you get in this product. Huge piece of feedback we received from the field is that people would very quickly run through their toner or excuse me, through their ampule, still have toner, still have cream. Now you will have sufficiently enough to continue a routine for as long as you see fit, as long as you need to. So huge increase in the volume of the product.
And then lastly, would you mind just telling them, I thought it was interesting on the new gel cleanser, how it's a powdered Beyond Pool in it. I thought that was really neat.
I think it's
and the
fascinating.
benefits of what that does.
Sure. So yeah, the raw material ingredient is called Byungpool P100 or Giant Byungpool P100. P100 really has no substance in what we're talking about, but it's just that it's pea powder. But with that, it's essentially pulverized giant Byungpool leaves. These have been dried, but we tried to maintain as many nutrients with